Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of Touch Taste Thursday. This is episode 3. I am your host, Rebecca Brumfield of the Jean Ellen Home and Lifestyle Collection. Welcome everybody. Let's get it. It is Thursday. That means we only have one more day until the weekend. Thank God. All right. So my guest tonight, you guys are going to love it. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. My guest tonight is my pastor, Pastor Cristian Hardy of the Love Alive Church here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Oh my gosh, it's going to be such a great conversation. I think you guys will really enjoy her. I've known her since like forever. So this is going to be a really good conversation. I am so excited that she was willing to join me. So let's just get into it. So I'm going to bring her in and we're going to get the conversation started. Also, episode 3 is sponsored by Blooms by Brianna, and we have our book, Claim Your Day, a 14-day devotional by Pastor Jamal Bates. You can catch it on Amazon, as well as you can go to www.thejamalbates.com. So I'm going to send Pastor Cristian an invite, and we're going to get started with this conversation. Oh, I'm so excited. You guys are going to love her. I hope you guys have been well. I hope you have checked to make sure that you are registered to vote. Make sure, if you're not sure if you're registered to vote, go and check with your registrar's office in your area. Go to your Secretary of State. I believe you can check at the Driver's License Bureau. We call it Office of Motor Vehicles here. But in your state, in your area, make sure you are registered to vote, because that is important. So, welcome, Pastor Cristian, to Touch Taste Thursday.
Hey, how y'all doing? I am so glad to be on with you tonight. I am just super excited. So I am looking forward to great conversation and just really getting into it. So I'm excited. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. It's been on my heart to invite you in for, oh my gosh, like almost seems like years now. And I just happened to see you one Sunday after church, and I was like, oh, let me grab her while I got her and just ask her. So thank you so much for agreeing to come on Touch Taste Thursday.
Of course.
All right. So let's just go ahead and jump right into it, because I have a ton of questions. And so I just want everyone to just make sure you are sharing, you're commenting, you're liking. Make sure you drop some comments in the chat so that we can be interactive, and Pastor Cristian can answer your questions as well. So with that being said, let's get started. Who is Cristian Hardy?
Oh my gosh, look, that is such a multi-layered question, because, you know, I feel like as ladies, many times we answer that question, oh, I'm a wife or I'm a mom, because we identify with so many of our roles. But Cristian Hardy is just, I feel like I wear so many different hats, you know, mom, pastor, wife, it just so many different things. Now, was teacher, but I feel like I'll never put down my love for teaching, but I'm no longer in the classroom. So I'm putting down the teacher's hat and picking up more of an entrepreneurship, and just really just focusing on getting my life together. Because let me tell you, when you wear a lot of hats, you are constantly spinning plates, constantly trying to keep your life moving. Your house might look a complete mess, like a tornado here. So I'm excited about getting my life together and just continuing to do what I do in excellence. So that's pretty much, who I am. I feel like what you see is what you get.
That is amazing. Now, just a little backstory for you guys. I've known Pastor Cristian since we were in, the 7th grade?
Yeah, Southern Lab.
Yes, at Southern University Laboratory School here in Baton Rouge. So I've known her a very long time, and she's always been so sweet, so kind, and just a real genuine human being. And so I appreciate that as we've grown up, she's stayed the same. You have a lot of people that switched up, changed, and grew up and whatever, but not Pastor Cristian. She is definitely a woman of God, and she's definitely such inspiration. So let me ask you. So we talked about a little bit, you touched on education, you touched on entrepreneurship, but what were your life's plans before ministry and being a mom and being a wife and all of that?
Oh Lord, what was my life's plans before all of that? My Lord, I would like to say, okay, so when I was growing up,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, I was like the typical person, like, oh, I want to be a doctor, I want to
Right.
be, a lawyer or something like that. That was like my plan. I even my mom sent me to like this medical career type thing at Villanova University. When I went to LSU, I majored in political science, so I was on this track to be something completely different than what I am now. But that was my life's plan. And, it's funny because we always have a plan for our own lives. But I
You're
feel that God always leads us and guides
right.
us in the direction in which we need to go. So I started out at LSU, kind of went in that direction and ended up changing my major to education, and then ended up graduating in political science because of kind of credits and all that, and then certifying in education. But God still had me on that trajectory to be a pastor, even though we were running away from that thing.
Right,
We told the
right.
story so many times about
Yeah.
how we just, it was like, first of all, we wanted to move out of Louisiana.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And we were like, you know what? We'll do anything else but pastor.
Mm-hmm.
But the
Mm-hmm.
Lord said, no. We were even looking at houses in Arizona. We were like, my husband was like, I can just run a big credit union. You could go teach somewhere. We could sit in a church. They don't have to know that they don't have to know we can preach,
Right.
sing, minister. They don't have to know any of that. We could just sit down and fund the vision and just be
Uh-huh.
perfectly fine with that. But, God said differently. He said, number one, y'all gonna stay in Louisiana.
Yes.
And number two, y'all are gonna pastor, which we didn't want to do either. But even though God led us on a different path and ended our path there, it's just so rewarding, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
Aw. So at what age or when did you hear the call to preach? When did you say, okay, God, I hear you. I'm just go ahead and do it. And this is what we're gonna do.
Okay, so I would say as a young adult, whenever
Okay.
I gave my life to the Lord, I was like 19, and I knew that I was called to minister. Like I
Mm-hmm.
knew that I was going to be in ministry in some form or fashion, ministering the word of God. I was leading the young adult ministry at the church that I was in at that time. So it was like I was on fire for God. I love the Lord. I love just ministering. So it's like I knew that I was called to do that.
Yes.
I did not know that I was going to be a pastor. So
Okay.
that's like two different things. We didn't receive our call to pastoring until 2013, when God just really laid it on my husband's heart that it was time for us to step out and to start Level Live Church. So, I always knew that I was called to ministry. Even when I first met my husband, I was like, and his mom, rest her soul, she kind of asked me what I felt like my purpose was or my destiny was. And I told her that, I feel like I'm called to minister. I feel that I'm called to ministry. And then it was funny because I was like, well, I don't know anything beyond that. And she kind of just looked at me and just kind of smiled. I feel like she knew all along
Mm-hmm.
what God had in store for us. But I would say that was the start of it, just loving God and just loving his word and ministering to people. Started out with the kids, actually, with young adults and teens. So
Mm-hmm.
it was good. It was good. That was the start of it.
Awesome. And so when you talked about the initial startup, the church planning, the cultivation of Love Alive, which I absolutely love. We'll get to that part. I know this in the, I guess, like the storyline, the timeline of, the initial inception of this is, what we're going to do. And then moving forward from going from a coffee house to like a theater
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
to another building. So let's talk about that. How did
Yeah.
that process go? In addition to you, as well as your husband, Pastor Hardy, shout out to Pastor Hardy, Pastor Rowe, having full-time jobs and family to raise.
Yeah, it was a crazy journey. I can just remember 2013, just sitting at our kitchen table and really dreaming of what God wanted to bring to the city of Baton Rouge. And like you said, starting out, I can remember, and it's so funny. We would look back on these pictures because in our church we have this memory wall,
Right,
and we'll do
right.
like these flashbacks, and I will see how we looked back then. I'm like, oh child, we was looking so basic. But it was just like, sitting at our kitchen table and dreaming of what we could bring to the city that was unlike anything else. And just taking that from the library, just meeting with a handful of people at the library and seeing the inception of it, and then moving to coffee talks at the brouhaha, like you said, and kind of moving through it. And even though people see where we are now, it was not without its challenges. We had challenges of raising money to launch a church. Many times people kind of launch a church, they'll do it in their living room or something like that. And, I'm not knocking anybody's start, but we were doing it through this organization called ARC, and they had us to raise about $30,000 to launch our church. And we were not able to raise that. We came very close to it, but we still knew that we had a calling and the city needed Love Alive Church. So, we kept going. Our team was awesome. We moved to the movie theater. We must have had about 30 people. And, and it was like we were going at it, and we were like, oh, God, it was going good, but then it wasn't really taking off the way we envisioned it. Okay. We were kind of like, well, God, did you really call us to do this? We felt like this was going to go a little different, God.
Right.
But once we had a meeting with our team and we kind of all got on one accord, and we just really, once you get people on one accord and there's unity, it's like there's no stopping you. So once we did that, we transitioned to the Jones Creek location, and it was like crazy from there. We had, at one time we had like 4 services.
Absolutely.
I look back and I'm like, how in the world did you even do that? Because but I tell you, I don't even think I could dream of doing 4 services now. It was a grace for that season.
Right.
But but God is leading us now to where we are in Lassen. And really that is just the beginning. Many people see Love Alive Church and they see what we're doing in the city, but that is just the tip of the iceberg, because, one thing about us is like we're constantly using strategy and being strategic and really moving and in step with the things of God. So that is, and it's just, that was just, I would say, it's just been so rewarding, the journey, the lives that have been touched, the people that have been impacted. It just blesses me. Every single Sunday I go in there and we just go hard after God. And it's just like young people, older people, babies, teens. It's like everybody, all of us have this one mission, and that is like to pursue God and just worship him passionately. So it is just, it's so fulfilling. It's hard work. Don't get me wrong. Anything you do will be hard work. There will be some aspects of everything that you do that will be challenging.
Right.
But in the midst of the challenge, if you find the fact that it's rewarding and you're fulfilled, it makes the challenge, doable, and you continue to keep going with what God has called you to do.
Absolutely. And so you touched on it's multi-generational. That's what I love about Love Alive Church. It's like you said, it's young adults, teens, seniors, newborns, babies, like it's everyone. It's something for everyone. And I love how it's not like typical church.
Yeah.
I always say I'm a traditionalist when it comes to church. I'm a PK, so I like that. We're going to read the scripture. We're going to say education. We're going to do the offering. We're going to sing, preach it down. But it keeps you, I want to say it's the atmosphere, like it charges you. It gives you that boost of like if you're low on energy, like instantly, as soon as you cross the threshold of the door, it's like your energy is renewed, restored, and you're ready for the next work. You're ready to conquer more. And I love that. I just think that is so amazing. And I just want more people to definitely come out on Sundays. There's 9 o'clock and 10:45 at Love Alive Church, 9 o'clock, 10:45. So make sure you join us.
Right. I know. Listen, I tell the people, if they come for 9 o'clock, that's like your short and sweet kind of service. The power of God is still in there. Now, at 10:45, if you don't mind your lashes hanging off by the time you leave,
my gosh,
then come on to the 10:45, because it goes crazy in there for 10:45. 9 o'clock too, but definitely 10:45.
That 10:45 is, let me tell you. That 10:45. Don't even wear lashes.
Don't even wear makeup. Just forget it. Don't even wear makeup. Just come as you are.
in the process of all of that and having church and, being the pastor's wife, in addition to being the co-pastor,
Yeah.
how do you find time for self-care? Because you have a lot on your plate, as you mentioned. You have your career, you have your family, you have all of the things that God has for your life. But when does Cristian find time for herself?
Oh my gosh, I say this all the time. Like self-care is so important. It's like, and what I find that I even do simple things for self-care because I learned a long time ago, if I don't take care of myself, then I can't take care of anybody else.
Yes.
And even when you're on an airplane, they tell you about put your mask on first before you help somebody else. So it's like,
Yes.
if I'm not taking care of myself, if I'm not doing the things that I need to do to take care of who I am, then I cannot pastor effectively. I will burn out and I won't be able to do it. So if self-care looks different to me at different times. I journal.
Mm-hmm.
Journal is one of the things that I love to do because it helps me to get my thoughts out. It can be as simple as me just taking a bubble bath with candles.
Mm-hmm.
It has been, listen, when it gets really busy and the kids really start getting crazy, self-care can look like me locking my door and nobody bothering me.
Yeah.
The kids knocking on the door and they're like, Mommy, let us in. I'm like, no, I know. I can't let you in right now
Mm-hmm.
because I'm decompressing.
Yes.
I'm getting my self-care. It can look like me sitting at the end of my driveway and letting the sunlight hit me or going
Mm-hmm.
for a walk. I kind of got away from self-care having to look like something big, because if we're waiting on something big, we'll never do it, and
Right.
we'll never allow ourselves to be revived and rejuvenated and replenished. So all the ladies that I talk to, in all of us are busy, but I
Mm-hmm.
tell them to make sure you're taking time for yourself, because you can't take care of anybody else. You're going to run yourself ragged. Even a car needs oil changes. So you
Absolutely.
have to make sure you're taking care of yourself, because if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anybody else. So I take time a little bit at a time to take, time out to do things for me.
So when you're taking time and you have a lot on your plate, you've done your self-care, the bubble baths, the sunlight, maybe a spa day or something like that, and it still seems like it's just not enough. You still need that extra boost. Who do you turn to for like your pastoral recharge, your counseling, maybe just like a good girlfriend to just kind of be like, all right, let's go to lunch, let's talk, I'm gonna listen. Like, how do you get through that? Maybe not so much therapy, but just something just to kind of say, it's not giving me what I need.
Oh yeah, absolutely. First thing I do is definitely in those moments where I needed to back up and say that I definitely make sure that I keep my prayer time and my meditation time in top priority, because I notice that when I am, and it's not that we try to not do this, but life can get so busy.
Yes.
And we just end up, we jumping out of bed, we hitting the ground
Mm-hmm.
running,
Absolutely.
and we kind of not really doing the things that we need to do to keep ourselves together. But making sure that I have that prayer and devotional time in the morning is critical, because when I don't have it, you can tell I'm literally like biting people's heads off. So it's best for me to spend that time with God in the
Yes.
morning before I talk to anybody else. But besides my time with God, I definitely do see a therapist, which I encourage everybody to see one. Even, sometimes it's like, and our church is a big advocate of seeing therapists. You need Christ and a couch,
Yes.
and you don't have, it's not just for people that, you feel like, oh, she crazy. She got things going on. She needs
Mm-hmm.
to, therapist. Everybody needs therapy just for maintenance, just to
Correct.
be able to talk to someone. So a
Yes.
therapist is one. I definitely have my share of a circle, a trusted circle that I turn to, of ladies that help to keep me accountable, and that I can just talk to when I'm going through different things, and just, ask for advice, and they minister to me. I'm not always the one that's ministering all the time. You have to have a circle of people that are close to you that you allow to pour into you when you need to
Correct.
be poured to. Because I say now, who prays for the pastor? The pastor
Yeah.
praying for everybody. You need somebody to pray for you. And also, I have mentors as well that I reach out to, and they pour into me as well. And I'm able to talk to them and bounce ideas off of them, and they're able to give me wisdom. So it takes a village. It really does, to keep yourself going and to just keep moving.
Absolutely. So I don't want to say it's just your focus, but you have a group that is like your baby called
Yeah.
Fierce Women.
Yes.
And Fierce Women have an event that's coming up. It is free. It is tomorrow night at 6:30, Love Alive Church. You can register at lac.fiercewomen on IG. It is free. It's a pajama party. It's women only, ladies only. So let's talk about Fierce Women.
Yes, listen, Fierce Women is it's really my baby. Our theme for this year is that we are helping women to show up in the world as their most authentic selves. Because it's like, so many times we could just get involved in other things and just we can be taking on the world, and many times we lose ourselves as
Yeah.
women when we get married and we have kids and we get on our job. We can find ourselves morphing into so many other different things where we really forget who we are, and before you know it, we're not showing up as our authentic self. So Fierce Women is my baby. I just love ministering to ladies. We do have our pajama party called Chip Flicks and Chat tomorrow night. I would love to see people out. But and Fierce Women started maybe in 2017. And I started it and I named it Fierce Women because fierce just means bold, confident, just going after it. And
Mm-hmm.
it's funny because it was almost a prophecy, like that I was speaking over myself.
Okay.
Whenever I established Women, I did not feel fierce. I really didn't.
Mm.
It was like I was dealing with a lot of self-doubt, self-esteem issues, dealing with a lot of mental challenges, dealing with all different things. But I will say, as I continue to evolve and continue to minister to women and allow God to change me and allow God to minister to me and allow God to make me whole. That was the thing. I wasn't whole. But I feel that it was a journey for me. It started that way, but it's like I'm at a point where I'm there, where
Mm-hmm.
it's like now, I might not have started out being fierce, and I was up
Mm-hmm.
there and I was preaching and ministering, not to say that I was being fake, but I was walking in faith. And God was allowing, I was allowing God to work some things in me while He was using me. Many times God will use us even while He's working on us. We don't have to be perfect to be used by God. We
Yes.
just have to have a willing heart
Right.
and the ability to say yes. So I thank God for Fierce Women because it helped me to grow up into the woman that I am now. And because of that, I am able to help other women to grow up into the women that God has called them to be. So that's my journey. That's my mission in life, to help women to be the best version of themselves. And every time I meet with ladies, I ask them, how can I add value to your life? What
Yeah.
can I do to help you? Because I don't want my connection to be with them just to be trivial or to just be something that's not purposeful.
Right.
If we're communicating and connecting, I want to do something that I can help you with, or I can help you to pursue what God has put on your heart. So I love Fierce Women. I love all the ladies that come, and I
Yeah.
encourage, everybody to come out and join us on tomorrow night at 6:30.
Absolutely. A while back, I visited Pastor Christian for maybe like an hour or so, and I just kind of told her
Yeah.
what was going on with me, and she was like, "That good girlfriend, like, okay, this is what's going on. This is what you need to do because this is not going to change. And in the
Right.
process, do this, this, and this, and hear your scriptures, and we gonna pray, and then come back and let me know what happened."
Yes.
And I
Listen.
mean, it was such a transformative experience because as I mentioned before, we've known each other for a while, but
Yeah.
knowing you as my pastor and being vulnerable enough to come to you and say, hey, listen, I have this going on and I need to talk to somebody about it.
Yeah.
Like, and just having the willing heart that you have to say, okay, Rebecca, so yeah, you know that's not gonna work out, right?
You know,
So
you
yeah,
just need people to be real with you. You know, you don't need
absolutely.
anyone to give you the fakeness, but just be real. And sometimes you might not like what people have to say, but you know, many times it's just it's okay. You may not like it in that moment, and not you personally, but just people in
Right,
general.
absolutely.
People may not like it in that moment, but you have to know that the person you're talking to has a heart for you, and they
Yeah.
have a heart for God, and they're not going to tell you anything that's going to lead you in the wrong direction.
Absolutely. And so what would you say to women that don't really have that circle, but they're needing
Yeah.
just that even if it is just a good girlfriend or a neighbor or a pastoral figure to just say, listen, you have to get yourself together. What's your word of encouragement?
My word of encouragement is to make sure you're showing yourself friendly. I can speak from my own experience that it was because of, you know, my own insecurities or me kind of just staying to myself, not really smiling, not really talking to people, just kind of staying in a shell. And that caused me to be alone. That caused me to not really, let people in because I was so guarded. But I felt that whenever I started to become more friendly, whenever I started to open up and show people who I really was, it actually attracted and it drew more people in so that I could have that circle. And I say too, trust God. I think many times we say it in a cliche way, oh girl, just pray about it. Or, you can,
Right.
but listen, you have not because you ask not. Ask God to connect you with other women who have the same heart as you do, who are people you can trust. And I believe that God will do that. I'm not a person where I have a lot of friends because I just don't, but the friends that I do have, they are deep relationships and it's a genuine connection. I have people that I communicate and talk to, but as far as like a deep friendship,
Mm-hmm.
I really allow God to connect me to those people. And it's just like something you just have to do. Ask God for it, show yourself friendly, and don't be afraid of it when it shows up.
Yes.
Because sometimes we can go through trauma as women and have friend trauma, and somebody's trying to be your friend and trying to be nice, and running them off and you don't respond to them. Open yourself up, and little by little, I feel that as you continue to get to know people, they will show you who they are. You'll know them by their fruit. And when you see that they're a genuine person, that you can trust them and that, y'all have a genuine connection, then you can make that connection with them.
Yes, I love it. I love it. So, what has been the most rewarding experience from 2013 all the way to today? What has been the most rewarding for you just in your evolving journey of Cristian Hardy?
And you talking about as far as like ministry is concerned?
All of it, just the whole package. We haven't even got to the other stuff yet, just what we've
Oh,
got to so far.
listen, I don't even know if I can pinpoint one thing. I will say this evolution that I have been on personally. Like, I'll
Mm-hmm.
speak from the ministry aspect. The thing that blesses me the most is seeing people's lives change. Like when I see someone who came to our church and they were a new Christian. They might have still been cussing, drinking, hanging. They might have still been doing all of the things,
Right.
and to see their evolution and to see them with their hands lifted, ministering, praying, doing all kind of stuff, going hard after God. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, seeing people's testimonies, I'm like, oh my God, I'm like, it was all worth it. It was all everything the tears that we cried, the
Yes.
blood that was shed, the things that we did to sow into the ministry, it was all worth it. Seeing people's lives impacted and transformed, it really does do my heart good, and it helps me to know that what we're doing is not in vain. And the thing personally, I would say, it's just this new evolution, that I've been
Mm-hmm.
on. I feel that I'm more free, I am just living my best life. I dealt a lot with anxiety and just being fearful and different things like that. But it was like there was this transformation that happened that God allowed me to break free of that. And
Mm-hmm.
it's almost like I'm going after it. I'm not allowing the enemy to stop me or to keep me from pursuing all that God has for me. I'm just going for it. So
Yes.
I am enjoying this newfound freedom. Even me walking off the job that I had been on for 15 years. This is part of the evolution of me just being free and just being like, you know what? Hey, I'm not getting no younger. I gotta get out there and do it and make it happen, and just allow God to lead me, because I don't ever want to be in that place again where I'm just afraid and fearful to step out.
Listen, let me tell you guys, and I'm not going to go into full detail because I don't want to get emotional. I don't know why my guests like to make me cry on my show, but last Sunday and the Sunday before, Pastor Rowe talked about sowing a seed, just sowing a seed, you know, in addition to your offering, your tithe, just sowing a seed. So I did. I for whatever reason, I always just get like a number in my head and I go with that number. So I did my offering. I didn't even think anything of it after. I pressed it, put my phone down, and went on back to the service or whatever we had going on. And that evening, I got a call from a network.
Wow.
The following week, same thing. Sowed my seed, let it go. And then I had an opportunity to guest spot on a morning show. So let me tell y'all, when Pastor Rowe and Pastor Cristian are saying to you the word of God, and they're also impressing upon your heart to sow a seed into that atmosphere, listen, you better do it.
That's right. That's right. Listen, and the testimonies are rolling in. See, I'm thankful to hear your testimonies, but we've had so many testimonies of people who have just been obedient and just really stepped out and sowed a seed of sacrifice, and God reproduced it. And it's like, we don't tell people to do things that we have not done ourselves or we're not currently doing, because even we are seeing the manifestation of seeds that are crazy. So it's not something that we're just telling people to do. We live by it. Absolutely. And we see the fruit of it. So I am so glad to hear that.
Yes.
Congratulations.
As the details come, I will definitely share with you guys. But I just wanted to make sure people understood that everything that you're saying, that's you. That is authentically you, and you live by the words that you speak to and over people. And so I just wanted to share that with those that are watching us. Welcome everyone to Touch Taste Thursday. This is episode 3 of season 4. I am Rebecca Brumfield of the Jean Ellen Home and Lifestyle Collection, and my guest tonight is Pastor Cristian Hardy of Love Alive Church here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And we're just talking. We are having such a great conversation about who Cristian Hardy is. And so now we're moving into ministry and entrepreneurship. And as she just mentioned, she quit her job of 15 years. Well, I don't say quit, but kind of,
transitioned out. Yeah,
just made a transition. Let's say that in education. And so now we're going to jump into it. So you have transitioned from education.
Yeah.
And now you're moving into entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
And so what does that look like now?
You know, that I will say being in education was very rewarding. You know, it was purposeful. I felt that it allowed me to meet a lot of people, make a lot of impact, and just, you know, it just gave me a sense of purpose. I felt that I stayed there 15 years. I mean, that seems like a long time. And when I think about it, I'm like, God, I leave 15 years. But I try not to think about it as like, okay, wasting 15 years. Because I don't feel like it was a waste, because I learned so much during that journey. But I stayed there so many years out of comfort. You know, it was like being comfortable and just not being willing to step out and trust God with what what was next. So I know that we are getting into entrepreneurship. We have Kids Make Money Too. It's one of our businesses that we really are allowing our kids to take full reign of, and people kind of be like, oh, Kids Make Money Too. I feel that allowing our kids to get into that, we are teaching them so much about work ethic, teaching them how to make money. We've given them part ownership in the company. So when they get older, they will have a part of it to have for themselves, And it's so funny. My husband and I, we just reached a financial milestone. And we were celebrating. We went out to supper club, I think it was night before last, and we were celebrating this financial milestone that we reached. And we shared it with the kids, and we are very honest with our children. We teach them, many times people kind of hide things from their kids, or, be like, oh, they just kids, they don't need to know about it. No, they do. You need to talk to your kids. They need to know these things. So we share with them that financial milestone, and they all excited and they happy. And I'm like, wait a minute, guys.
Right.
This is me and Daddy. This is we done this. I said, this is not y'all. This is us, So I was letting them know that, okay, we've reached this milestone, but y'all are broke, okay? Y'all have to work. Y'all gotta get out there and make it happen. Yes, we're gonna help you and give you a great head start, but just like we got out there and pursue the things of God and just really worked on what God had put in our hands, you guys have to do the same. And I feel like that when you raise your children up to think that way and not just focus on getting a job, there's nothing wrong with getting a job, but we really like to focus on ownership and entrepreneurship, because that is the way to success. And I hate to say success, but it's the way to ownership and to greater wealth than you'll be able to achieve on a job. So, that's one of the businesses that we have, and we're working on some other things, so you guys will have to stay tuned for what's next besides Kids Make Money Too. But I'm definitely excited about the things that we have coming up, and just being free enough to do that, because I felt like God, many times I would pray and ask God, to do different things, or to be like, God, I want to do this, God, I want to do that. And God was like, girl, I can't do none of that, because you still holding on to this job. I cannot open up doors because you have this obligation. God will never allow more on us to come that we are able to bear. And God is like, if I open this door, you're not going to be able to bear it. It's going to be too much.
That's good.
There were things, many times we want to launch out into things, and let me listen, y'all. I'm not telling nobody to quit their job now, because you're not going to say, Pastor Christian said, oh yeah, I need to quit my job.
Right.
No. See, we were, even though I transitioned out, it was done with strategy and with wisdom. The Bible says that wisdom is the principal thing. Yes. So I knew that it had to be a plan and a strategy to make that exit, so that I would be able to do the things that I had it in my heart to do. And I knew that God was calling me to do, but God was like, you got to trust me. You got to step out. You can't be afraid. If you want these things that you're asking me for, and that I've given to you, you got to trust me. I trust God, but we also were strategic and wise with how we made the transition.
Oh, I love it. Yes. So, okay, let me ask you, because I feel that someone is in the comments trying to figure out how they want to ask this question. So I'm going to ask for them.
All right.
And maybe the question is me, I don't know, but you mentioned about, just stepping out on faith and having the faith and following wisdom to say, okay, God, you've given me this vision to do this, this, and this. And you've given me the talent to be able to do this and this. How do I put them together? But I don't want to leave my job, because I have health benefits and I have a good parking spot, and they give us donuts on Tuesdays. Like, what is something that you would say or encourage someone to do with all of that, but they know that entrepreneurship is their next step?
I would say start planning now. My husband and I, this transition plan has been about 2 years in the making. It's so funny, because I know for at least for 3 or 4 years straight, I'm like, this is my last year. I'm not going back. This is my last year. Right. And every year I would be like, okay, I'm going back for one more year. But this year before last, it was a gradual transition. It was like, okay, me moving my kids to a different school because I knew that they couldn't come to the school that I was working at because I'm not going to be there any longer. Me
Oh, wow.
doing different things like and just kind of little by little. Many times when you're wanting to make that transition, start on the side with what you want to do. I'm a firm believer in having a side hustle and growing that side hustle until it can become your main thing.
Yes.
Because sometimes we like to just jump out there and we don't have a plan. But listen, you got to have a plan, at least for me. That's what I have to have a plan. So it was 2 years in the making. So start writing the plan down, write the vision, make it plain, start it on the side. And while you're building your business on the side, save money. Saving money is super important so that when you're able to make that transition, you'll have this safety net or this nest egg to kind of help you if you had some like gaps in between. I would say also, and there are other great programs out there that will help you with health insurance, because that was one of the things I felt like that kind of held me captive for longer than I wanted to. I'm like, oh man, I got these good benefits. What we gonna do about health insurance? What we gonna do about dental? What we gonna do about this? What we gonna do? But it's like I wasn't aware of the different programs that were out there that are offered to entrepreneurs and people who may be in ministry or other areas. But I didn't know it because I didn't do the research. I wasn't talking to people. So I started to surround myself with people who were entrepreneurs, people who were full-time in ministry, people who were actually moving in the direction in which I desired to go. And I started to talk to those people. You are only as great as the circle that you surround yourself with. So that's one of the things that I constantly challenge myself, like who am I surrounded by? Because the people that you're surrounded by, they're able to speak into your life and help to guide you. So I was, talk to my mentor about how to do it. I didn't just jump ship. I did certain steps and had a plan in place to make that transition. So that's what I would encourage people. If God put it in your heart to do it, start planning now and step out. It's never too late, because sometimes that was another thing, being like, oh my gosh, too much time has passed. I'm just getting older and stuff like that. The devil is a liar. As long as you have breath in your body, you are able to do it.
Yes.
And I tell myself this all the time. I don't want to get to the end of my life and be like, God, I wish I'd have done that.
Yes,
God,
absolutely.
I wish I wouldn't have been scared. I wish I'd have just stepped out. I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to live my life that way. So I'm going to step out and do it. So that's what I would encourage people to do.
Yes, we have a comment. Let's see. The question says, are there any programs you recommend for entrepreneurship? It's a good question.
Any programs, like, as far as programs, what do you mean, like health insurance or things like that? I was kind of talking about that. I know that one of the things that we were looking at was MedShare, where you are able to, anybody who's a Christian is able to participate in this. It's not called an insurance, it's like a provider network where they are able to take on, they have a network of doctors and different things like that. That's almost like a PPO, and you are able to go there and see like physicians and dentists and different things like that, almost like you would with a regular insurance company. So I know that's the program that we're taking advantage of, being an entrepreneur, but I'm sure there's some other programs out there. I'm not familiar or able to recall any other at the time, but I know that that's a good one, MedShare.
Absolutely. And also, if you're in the Baton Rouge area, I'm not sure, I'm not sure where Maya Ruth is, but Maya Ruth, if you are in the Baton Rouge area or surrounding areas, make sure you reach out to the small business program at Southern University. That is free. You can get counseling. They'll help you with the business plan. There are online Zoom courses for training, certifications you can do. If you reach out, make sure you let Miss Ada and Mr. Blaine know that I sent you. Tell them Rebecca sent you. So. But yes, it's the Southern University Small Business Development Program. It's there on Harding Boulevard. So they are an excellent resource for all things that you may need to help get your business started: funding, banking, insurance, just reach out. They can give you more information. I just wanted to share that tidbit.
Oh, that's good info. Listen, the people, they need you. It's good to get info because
Yes,
you are able to go further once you have things like that to help you to get to where you want to be.
absolutely. And so let's reset really quickly for those that have just joined us. Thank you, everyone, for joining Touch Taste Thursday. This is episode 3, season 4. My name is Rebecca Brumfield of the Jean Ellen Home and Lifestyle Collection. My guest tonight is Pastor Cristian Hardy of Love Alive Church here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and New Orleans, or just Baton Rouge?
Just Baton Rouge for now, right now, but next year, listen, New Orleans, we're gonna be out there.
Coming back, New Orleans.
Yeah.
And I also want to make sure, ladies, that you are registered for tomorrow night's Fierce Women activity. It is tomorrow night at 6:30 p.m. at Love Alive Church. You can register at lac.fiercewomen on IG. It is free.
Yes.
Wear your PJs, bring a notebook, bring some tissue, because I know that it's going to be a lot of sharing and caring, and it's just going to be such an amazing event. And we want to see you there. It's free. So
that's right. Come out and join us.
Register. Also, season 4, episode 3 is sponsored by Balloons by Rihanna. I tried to move them so that they won't
Ooh,
be in
those
the
are
way.
pretty.
But that's one of our sponsors for this season. And for episode 3, we have a sponsor, Pastor Jamal Bates, and his book is called Claim Your Day, the 14-day devotional. It is an amazing devotional. Every day it gives you a thought. It also has space for you to write down your thoughts so that you can seize the day. It says it's the 14-day devotional that will help change your life with daily affirmations and prayers. So make sure you go to Amazon.com, type in Jamal Bates, or you can go to www.thejamalbates.com. And also, let's not forget the most important part of it all. Tune in every morning, 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. our time, or 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Jamal Bates Morning Show. I am guest hosting this week. Oh my gosh. And next week. So tune in. And you can find them on the website because it's based out of South Carolina.
You go, girl.
Thank you. I'm trying to get all my announcements out. And that has been your church announcement. So let's talk about staying connected. So when you talk about entrepreneurship, something that kind of came to my thought was, a lot of people would look at you, look at myself, maybe look at some other women and just say, she's all put together. Like she's this perfect package. Why not just focus on the branding, the look, just having a line of boutiques and stuff like that. I've noticed that women in ministry they've been pushed to the forefront now. So you have a lot of women that are out there preaching and teaching, praying and prophesying. And I think sometimes women tend to get a little bit shy about that. They're shy about their call.
Yeah.
So how should one that know within themselves that God has called them, how do they pull that and push that forward?
I would say, first of all, you have to be true to yourself. You have to be true to who God has called you to be, and just be authentic. And honestly, it took me some time to kind of even get there because, I feel like women, many times we can compare ourselves to other people. We can see what someone else is doing and we can look at ourselves and we can be like, well, I'm not as good as that person, or I'm what she is doing, or you may even feel that I'm not good enough. I don't have what it takes. I can't do it. It is that, and I like to say that is a lie from the pits of hell. You have to know that you are capable. You are more than enough, that you can do it. And it looks like whatever you want it to look like. It doesn't have to look like what I'm doing in ministry. It doesn't have to look like what sister so-and-so or what first lady or pastor so-and-so is doing in ministry. But I would say just be true to yourself. Find you a mentor or someone who you desire to glean from, because I think That's important. Finding someone to glean from. And it doesn't have to always be someone you can put your hands on and talk to. It could be someone you just admire from afar that's able to pour into your life indirectly and to help you to grow into your call and grow into the gift and the things that God has ordained for you to do. So I would encourage you to step out, not to be afraid. Know that you're more than enough. Know that you're more than capable. Allow the Holy Spirit to lead you because there is nothing that you cannot do. It's only the enemy that's trying to stop you. And I used to deal with that. I'd be like, okay, why is the enemy fighting me so hard? Why is it like I'm having such a hard time stepping out and doing the thing that I'm called to do? But it's like the enemy is just so mad. It's like I had to realize that, girl, the enemy trying to stop you because you are able to impact people's lives. You're able to make a difference in their lives. So I would encourage that ladies do that, just be true to yourself and step out and just be authentic and do what God has called you to do. Not looking at anybody else, but just doing what you know that God put in your heart to do.
Amen. We're going to close out with that because I think that was perfect. Let us know how to stay in contact with you.
Well, I am on Instagram at Cristian_Hardy. And that Christian does not have an H because, my mama, she tried to do something different. She was trying to be fancy. But it's at Cristian_Hardy. And I'm also on Facebook at Cristian Hardy. So I would love to be in contact with you guys and just, stay tuned. Also, you can follow Fierce Women at Fierce Women, and join us on our journey with our women's ministry. You don't have to be a part of our church, but we would love to have you and get you connected. So I'm just excited. Thank you so much for inviting me to be on your show. I have just been tremendously blessed, and just seeing what God is doing with you just really blesses my heart. And I am just looking forward to all the things that God is doing with you. So keep going. You are doing awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a labor of love.
Yeah. Listen, I know about that.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Again, please make sure you are following Pastor Cristian. Please make sure you are following Fierce Women. I'll tag all of this in the IGTV so that you guys can go back and rewatch this and share this with your friends. Ladies, gentlemen as well, everyone needs to hear this because we are all in a space right now where we're trying to find our groove. We're trying to get out of that COVID inside, and now we're outside, back outside, but it's still relevant because everyone needs someone to just be real with them, to be authentically themselves, and to just love on them and just be a listening ear. So with that being said, our theme of the Jean Ellen Home and Lifestyle Collection is what's for me is for me, and what ain't is for another saint. And so I just want you guys to make sure you are following all things Jean Ellen Collection related. There's a lot of things in the works, and now that I'm on a morning show, I have to go to bed early. So I just want to thank you guys again. Next episode 4 is going to be August 18th. At 8 p.m. My guest that night will be Lael Montgomery. He is a Baton Rouge activist. You've seen him on the news. You've seen him on Facebook. He goes hard for the people of Baton Rouge. And he's running for city councilman in Zachary, Louisiana. So make sure you tune in August 18th at 8 p.m. for episode 4. That is all that I have for tonight. Thank you so much, Pastor Cristian, for being a part. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I sincerely appreciate it.
Absolutely. All right, everybody. Make sure you register. Ladies, register for Fierce Women. I'll tag that in our IGTV. And with that being said, we are out. Have a great weekend and take care of yourself and everyone around you. Bye.
Bye-bye.